Hello, Amityville Wellness family. Sorry I am running late. We were having massive technical difficulties, but here I am. Here we are. Let's take a collective, nice, deep breath before we get started. So let's inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now, let's talk about anxiety. A lot of people are having anxiety right now with everything going on in the world. So how do you handle it? Now, obviously, we cannot change what's going on in the world around us. Unfortunately, I wish we could, but we can't. So what we're going to do is try to change the way our body responds to the stressors in our life. And if we change things that we're doing, we will make a big impact on how our mind feels. And so what is anxiety anyway? Because some people say, I don't have anxiety. But a lot of people do, and they don't even realize it. And the thing is, if you don't realize that you do have anxiety, then you're not addressing it, and you might not be living your full potential because anxiety is impacting you. So anxiety is when you can have difficulty concentrating, you can be irritable, you can be overwhelmed. Some people feel depressed, like sadness, or they have a loss of motivation. Another way anxiety presents is maybe you have difficulty completing tasks, or an unrealistic view of the actual problem. So who can have anxiety? Anxiety can be experienced by anyone. And I think that's often what people forget, is that anxiety can really affect all ages. And everyone presents differently. So the ways that I just described anxiety is how a typical adult expresses anxiety. But children have a lot of anxiety as well. And they might express it, of course, with the irritability and, the crying fits, but other things. They might be doing things maliciously, which is not really their typical personality type, and that could just be anxiety presenting. And so some triggers, obviously the coronavirus is a big trigger, but even if you try to take yourself out of that and you're not really watching the news so much, but you still feel it, the pressure around you. Anxiety can be triggered by sugar, caffeine, and alcohol. Those are really your big triggers. So the way sugar increases your anxiety is it affects your blood sugar. And so when you take in sugar, you get this real high, and then you come crashing down. And that happens, that goes right with your mood too. You get that sugar rush, you start going, running around the house, oh, I can clean everything, and then it drops, and then your mood drops with that. Caffeine is the same thing. Caffeine stimulates your body, so you get that rush, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But then once that caffeine wears off, you become sluggish, and your brain does the same thing. When you have that caffeine rush, what happens is also your anxiety flares up. Your brain starts going overtime, and you're overthinking, and you're worrying, excessive worrying starts happening. And then the last one, alcohol. How alcohol affects you is initially you drink and you get a nice stress relief, and you feel, oh, this is great, laid back. But you know what? When you go to sleep at night, your sleep is disrupted, and in the morning when you wake up, you might be a little bit hungover, you might be a little bit out of it, and so then your mood is then down in the dumps as well. So it's important that you really try and keep your caffeine, your sugar, and your alcohol intakes level. Don't overdo it on any of them, because that will increase your anxiety and affect your mood so much. I mean, you know it when you see it with kids, especially if you have any kids. You give them some sugar and they're so happy and off the walls and going wild, and then they crash, and then they're crying, and it's a nightmare. Take it from me, I have 2 kids. You have to make sure that you keep those 3 things in check. Don't overdo it. Like we always say, live life in balance, okay? You can do that. And consistently, if you flush your body out with water, say you do have sugar, because we're all gonna cheat, and we all want to live a little. So you can have the sugar, you can have the caffeine, you can have the alcohol, but you have to bombard that, or balance it out by drinking double the water. So that's kind of my rule. If I'm gonna have sugar, I'm gonna have double the water that I would normally have. So keep your water intake high, okay? Because that keeping you hydrated is going to help keep your brain functioning at its fullest potential. Now, how do we lower our anxiety? How can we do it at home? So I actually found something on my phone, which I love, is it has a bedtime alarm. I don't know if everybody's phone has this, but either way, everybody has these phones and everybody has alarm clocks. And right now you might have just kind of tossed it out the window because maybe you're social distancing, maybe you're not working, maybe you're working from home, or maybe you just don't typically work, but you can't get out and do your normal routines that you do. But go ahead and set an alarm. Set an alarm, 2 alarms a day. This is what I like to do. You have a morning alarm, so the time you wake up, then you have a bedtime alarm, and that's the time you have to go to sleep. Actually, my partner Devin, who works here at Amityville Wellness, he is so good at waking up and going to sleep the same time 5 days a week. So that's really the rule that we push here. 5 days a week, you have to wake up and go to sleep the same time. And with the fancy phones and all the alarm clocks, I know you can all set 2 alarms every day. Give it a try, because to really combat the anxiety, you need to have an established routine. And you can give yourself 2 cheat days. But you might find that you don't even really like that, because when you do take those days off, your mood might just start fluctuating. So if you're having high anxiety, you might want to just keep it going 7 days a week. You wake up, you go to sleep. Same time, every single day. Now, the next thing you can do is you want to try to plan a regular meetup, whether it's going to be the social distancing that I'm sure you guys have seen in parking lots where people are sitting with their cars 15 feet apart, and they open their trunks and sit in the back of their car and they talk to each other. But you want to do something like that, or if it's a meetup group online, whether it is, once a week you touch base with your family or your friend. And in the beginning it might be awkward, or actually at Amityville Wellness we have a team wellness hangout that we do every Friday at 1 o'clock, and it's great, because we're not all working together right now, but we miss each other. But when we do this meetup, we get to see each other and take a step outside of the world that we're in right now and reconnect. And so it's a really nice thing to do. But I know it might feel weird, like you might feel like you're alone and you're the only one that has this anxiety that's so bad. You might be crying and really worried and you don't know what to do, but reach out, because in this situation, people want to help each other. When you help someone, you actually feel good, so you get to reap the benefits. So if you know someone is living alone or tends to be a little bit more of an anxious person, go ahead and reach out to them. Give them a call, check in, see how are they doing, how are you doing? Because we need to, you remember, we're all in this together, right? And so when we talk to each other, you're going to make that person feel better, and you're going to feel better too. So don't forget to connect with each other. That's a really big thing. Now, another thing that I really love to do for anxiety, which is what I do all the time with my patients, is you have to retrain your brain. Now, you think, I can't retrain my brain. That's not something I can do. I'm a worrier. That's the type of person that I am. Now, for starters, what you have to do is stop saying that you're a worrier. You're not a worrier. If you say, I am a worrier, you just put that on yourself. So let's stop saying that. Or I have so much anxiety. Let's not say that anymore. Okay? Let's switch it up. Let's just leave that out. When you call someone, you say, I really want to talk to you. I have a lot on my mind that I need to get off my mind. Instead of saying, I have so much anxiety, I don't know what to do, I'm such a worrier, I'm worrying all the time. Let's switch the language. When you change the language, you trick the mind and you start to retrain the brain. Now, if you're thinking worst case scenarios, think of your worst case scenario and then switch it, flip it. So let's think. Maybe it might be, this social distancing is never going to end. It's never going to end. I feel like we've been in this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Are we ever getting out of our houses? What's going on? What you're going to do now is think the exact opposite of that. Okay? So what's the opposite of that? Social distancing is going to end. It's going to end. We're going to be outside again, and we're going to all be together again. Now, to take it one step further, now even if you don't believe it, you have to say that, and you have to think that way. That's how you change your brain. That's how you change the way that you're thinking. So you're not only going to think, okay, This is going to end. It's going to end, and I'm going to be together with my friends again. I want you to then visualize one step further. What are you going to be doing with your friends? You know, visualize yourself. Oh, when I get out of here, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be on the beach with all my friends, surfing, or I'm going to be together at a big family dinner, and it's going to be so great. Or, you know what, I'm just going to be back to work. I just can't wait to get back to work. You know, I think about everyone always wants vacations and is begging for vacations. Well, here's the vacation. Here's what happens if we're home alone, home without working for too long. People go crazy, right? So we're going to want to get back to work and back to routines. But just remember, flip the thought. So let's think of another thing that people are worried about all the time. Oh, I'm worried about my health. I'm worried about my health. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. So another thing that I always say is worrying is wishing for what you don't want. Okay? If you're putting so much time and so much energy into what you do not want, you're thinking about it around the clock. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. Change the thought. Flip it. I will not get sick. 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 I am healthy. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. This is what we have to do. You retrain your brain and the anxiety will start to decrease. Believe me. Now, everyone knows I love to exercise. I work out all the time. It's my thing. That's one way that I keep my brain sane. And that's one of the main things that really decreases anxiety. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little exercise together because you know I love to do exercise with you guys. So I want everyone to stand up, okay? It's not going to be hard. Now, the reason why exercise works is because once you get your body moving, it starts to release endorphins. Now, endorphins are the things that change your brain, change everything that's going on in your mind, and make you feel better, makes your brain feel better, okay? So let's start out. I want you to, everyone stand up, okay? And we're gonna make our hand like this little cup. You know I love this cup I always talk about. And we're gonna make this cup, put your arm out, and we're gonna cup all the way up to the top. And then we're gonna flip our hand up, palm up, and cup down the inside of the arm. Up the outside, all the way up to that shoulder where it feels real good, and down the inside. We're gonna do it 3 times. Up the outside, down the inside. Now we're going to go to the other arm. Make your little cup, up the outside, palm up, down the inside. Again, up the outside, down the inside. One more time. Up the outside, down the inside. Now we're going to take a loose fist, just a loose fist. We're going to tap the top of the shoulders. Now I know we did this in our Open Your Lungs session last weekend, because this is actually, we're tapping the top of the lungs. But this area right here, let's go to the other side, is where we hold so much tension and stress. So when we get this area moving, the stress moves and you start to feel better. And now let's keep the loose fist, just really loose. Do the gorilla pounding that I love. Oh, it feels so good. Just nice loose fist, go down the sternum, down the chest, into the ribs, little cup hands. Oh, you feel it. I feel it. Now again, this is working on our lungs, but not only our lungs, but our emotions. It's getting everything going. You can feel it. You start to buzz. If you stop for a second, you feel everything buzzing. That's good. That's everything moving. You're going to feel better after this, and your anxiety is going to be lower. Now what I want you to do is we're going to start with our hands down our sides. We're going to take a nice deep breath in and raise our hands up. Out. In. Down. So we're going to inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more time by yourself. Very good. Very good. So that's a nice calming way to end your little exercise routine. So if you can't get out there and run or bike or walk, go ahead and just do this tapping exercise, okay? And you'll feel so much better because it's going to get the blood going. It's going to get the lymphatic fluid going. And it's also going to get your mood changing, which is what we need. We can't sit in those bad moods and sit in that fear and worry. Let's shift it. You have the power to shift it. You can change the way your brain is thinking. Use these tips to change the way that you're thinking. Don't be so worried anymore, okay? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and you're going to do your best to keep yourself as healthy and strong as you can during this time, okay? Remember, we're all in this together. Reach out to someone. Establish a routine. Establish a routine for yourself. Do your exercises. Set your bedtime and your wake-up time. And remember, live life in balance, okay, guys? So for more information, check out our blog, amityvillewellness.com. As always, let's take some nice deep breaths. Ready? One more. And live your life in balance. Get outside, get into nature, stay strong, and be well, okay? I'll see you next time. Have an awesome Saturday. Happy holidays.